Hello, gardening friends or future gardening friends if you're just getting started. Thanks for tuning in today for our pollinator friendly and pollinator garden video. My name is Jennifer Hemphill and I am enjoying my second year working with our Rancho Simi Rec and Park District on our BioBlitz series. So I am here in my backyard and I'm just going to show you around my pollinator friendly garden and talk to you a little bit about what that means. And then we'll head on over to my school where I am a teacher and we'll talk about a pollinator specific garden and how they are a little bit different, but both very pollinator friendly. So let's go ahead and take a look at my garden and talk about what a pollinator friendly garden is. Okay, so welcome to my home pollinator friendly garden. We're going to take a look and see that I do not have a pollinator specific garden, but I do have a garden that welcomes pollinators and, as you could see here, pets. It does welcome pollinators into the garden. So what does that mean? It just means that I have, I do not use any sort of chemicals. I don't use any kind of powders, no kind of sprays. I use nothing that could potentially harm our pollinators. So if you go to some of these larger garden stores, not all of them, there are a lot of them that are really, truly doing their part so that they can welcome pollinators into more of our gardens in our community. But you can see that when you go to a garden store, you often see these plants that have these big, beautiful leaves, no holes in them, no leaf damage at all. Because who would buy a plant that doesn't look big and beautiful, correct? So the reason why they look the way that they do is simply because they do often use either herbicides or pesticides to kill any kind of leaf damage or any kind of pests. So you can see here when we look at some of my plants, you can see that I do have some leaf damage. I have something in some of these plants that are called leaf miners, and so I simply have to pick some of these leaves off. No problem at all, because even with some leaf damage on some of my leaves, I can still produce, like here, some cantaloupes, and they're doing great. So a lot of times we will find things like roly-poly bugs, which are really fun to play with, but they do a lot of damage to our gardens. So we can hand pick those off, or we can do some other tricks to help keep the pests out of our garden. You can see, let me pan around here. You can see here that I use cardboard. So what I do is I will stick cardboard all throughout my garden beds, and then I water in the evenings, and in the morning I will come and I will pick out the cardboard and find that sometimes 20 roly-poly bugs will have taken shelter underneath my cardboard, and I just toss that into the recycle or even into the compost bin, and it gets rid of those pests naturally. So thanks for taking a peek with me at my pollinator friendly garden, which in a nutshell is just basically a garden, a safe place for our pollinators to come to get maybe a drink of water, for some shelter, and hopefully some nectar if you also incorporate some nectar bearing plants for them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head on over to my school where I teach and take a look at a pollinator garden, a specific garden that was planted for our pollinators. So let's go take a peek. All right, so you can see things are a lot different here in our pollinator garden. So this is our pollinator garden at Wood Ranch Elementary School here in Simi Valley, where we have created a space to welcome our pollinators into our garden. So you could see here we have some milkweed for the monarch caterpillars and monarch butterflies. We have some, well, there was some passion flower vine that was right behind this milkweed, but the Gulf fritillary caterpillars have completely devoured it, and we are currently in need of some more. We have some rue here for our swallowtail butterflies, and lots of nectar producing plants for our bees, our wasps, and our hummingbirds. We have hummingbirds all the time in this plant here, and some more rue. So these plants are specific host plants. These welcome the butterflies, like this California pipevine swallowtail, a safe place for them to lay their eggs. A host plant simply means that it is the only plant that a specific type of butterfly will lay her eggs on. So this is the passion flower vine for the Gulf fritillary, and here's a monarch that the kids were just tickled when it opened up from its chrysalis. Here is a monarch chrysalis. These photos are all from our pollinator garden. It's really neat for the kids to look around and see all of this nature just unfolding right in front of their eyes. And that is what the beauty of a pollinator garden will provide for you. So I hope you learned something. I hope you at least enjoyed some of these photos from our garden. And I hope that you will possibly incorporate some pollinator-friendly plants, if not a pollinator garden, into your space near your home or an establishment that you are associated with, because we are really doing ourselves a service when we create these pollinator-friendly spaces so that we can have some vegetables and fruits and beautiful flowers, and more important, a safe place for our pollinators. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope to visit you all again next year. Bye-bye.